Good morning, Don Lane, Fraser Valley News, your news update for this Friday, February the 8th. And the big story right now that we are following on this morning newscast is, here we go again. Throughout the entire day, we are expecting a dusting of snow, but more importantly and more seriously, the fact that we have an Arctic outflow warning continuing with a wind warning, frostbite concerns if you're out and about and you're not bundled up. So we are going to be keeping an eye on this. Now, the models have been changing literally hour by hour. It looks like 2 to 4 centimeters of snow depending on elevation. Again, this may be a repeat of what we had last week with Abbotsford getting socked in by a little bit of snow, a lot of snow, and icy conditions on Wacom Road and all the way back to 200 heading westbound, although Chilliwack really didn't receive much. So we are going to keep an eye on that. A couple of other things on the go. UFV, the basketball team, the men's hoops team, starting their playoffs last night, coming from behind and beating UNBC. And all the details are up on FraserValleyNewsNetwork.com. The done deal, probably one of the worst kept secrets in Chilliwack, is that Cottonwood Mall has a new owner, and the old Target store will be replaced by Save On Foods. However, there's still no word on what's going to happen with Sears, the other big empty lot or store at the mall. There's no word yet if that will be filled up. 1,500, well, almost 1,500 illicit overdose drug deaths in British Columbia in 2018. The end of 2018 numbers, 4.1 deaths per day. And the numbers in Abbotsford dropped a little bit, but the numbers in Chilliwack spiked. And nobody seems to know why, except for the fact that there's simply more fentanyl out there. About 86% of all illicit drugs are cut with fentanyl. And over the past couple of weeks, we have had a number of overdose deaths in Abbotsford and Chilliwack in particular. This on the heels of a warning of carfentanil as well as phony Xanax. Fraser Valley Home and Garden Expo is now underway at Heritage Park in Chilliwack. That's the big red barn on Highway 1 as you're coming into Chilliwack from the west, heading eastbound. And we'll probably see you there. Women's Suit Drive for Indigenous law students. This started up from Kyla Lee at Acumen Law in Vancouver, but they are trying to help out law students everywhere, not just Metro Vancouver, but in the Fraser Valley as well, to help them with clothing, because let's face it, they're paying all this money to go to school, become lawyers, become legal aids, and there's really not much of a budget left. So if you can help out, all the details are up on FVN. We have had a couple of people asking us why on Thursday night FVN did not cover Culture Guard and Carrie Simpson and her speech at Evergreen Hall, which is anti-SOGI and, quite frankly, homophobic. Well, bottom line is that she got plenty of media exposure in November of 2017, the last time there was this type of a rally. And, quite frankly, we didn't want to give her any more exposure. We also knew that most, if not all, school trustees weren't going to show up for this. We also had word that we heard from the underground that even though this was supposed to be a fundraiser for Barry Neufeld, school trustee who is very anti-SOGI, guess who didn't show? Barry Neufeld. We'll leave it at that. So that's why we didn't cover it. It really didn't turn into much of a news story. There were the usual speeches, but the crowds, as we saw on social media, were nothing like the crowds in November of 2017. And if you want to check out that story, that original story, just go to Fraser Valley News Network, FVN, and under the search engine that you'll see on the webpage, look for Rally 2017, Anti-SOGI 2017, or anything with Culture Guard or Barry Neufeld, and you will find that story. So that's why we did not cover it. So the big thing right now is that we are keeping an eye on the weather. It is going to be cold, and hopefully traffic is not going to be affected too much. We don't have Super Bowl, it's done. Daytona is still another week away, so we have Chilliwack Chiefs. We'll keep an eye on them. UFV, of course, the basketball program in the playoffs, as well as volleyball. They've got a busy weekend, and we'll keep up to date as well on the wrestling program. Have yourself a great day. Bundle up. Don Lane, Fraser Valley News.